It is a day to celebrate those who have made impact here, in our neighborhood, in our city, in our country, and in countries around the world, to our economics, to our political systems, to social contributions, to making the world a better place. Really important stuff. And this year we have the very, very special honor of hosting one such woman, Ebony Frelix, who I said earlier is a Burke alumna, and we are so excited that she is here. I'm just going to talk for literally just a few moments, not give her the full, not give her her full bio and full recognition, because I really want you to hear from her. But Ebony is the Senior Vice President for Philanthropy and Engagement at Salesforce.org, an incredibly important company nationally and internationally, and in particular in this city. In her role at Salesforce, she is responsible for engaging more than 25,000 employees in community service opportunities, as well as administering literally millions to hundreds of millions of dollars in grants to improve communities around the city, around the country, around the world. Her work is making an incredible difference in all different kinds of people's lives. And as a result of her many accomplishments at Salesforce, Ebony has been recognized as one of San Francisco Business Times' most influential women in Bay Area business, as well as San Francisco Business Times Beyond the Check Award recipient 2 years in a row, as well as its Rising Star Award recipient in 2016. This is a woman who is doing amazing things in her work and her commitment to others, and in the person that she is, in the short period of time that we got to spend together before this assembly started, the power of who she is as a person, what she is thinking about, how she remembers this school, how this school helped shape her, came shining through. And it's really, really my honor to introduce this Burke alum to you. I am so excited to hear what she has to share with us, so please join me in extending an enthusiastic and very warm welcome to Ebony Frelix.
Good morning, ladies. So, let's see. I graduated in 1991 from Burke's, which I realized in doing the math was like 26 years ago, so I feel super old right now talking to you guys. But, you know, as I was talking to my best friend, Christine McGuire, and my mother, Deborah Frelix, last night, they said, take lots of pictures when you're up here. And I was like, Mom, Christine, how am I going to do that? I'm speaking. So it came to me late last night that maybe before I begin, I'd ask you all for a favor. And maybe I can go up on stage and take a quick picture of you guys before I start, so then I can send it to them after I'm done. Is that okay? Yeah. Stand up for a moment. So that's all taken care of. Thank you, ladies. So, as Ms. Williams said, I have a big fancy job and a big fancy title, and a lot of times when I talk to my friends, they say, well, what do you do? And I get to say, you know, I give away millions of dollars to nonprofit organizations, And it's a really great job, you know, it's wonderful. And I have like fancy speech writers and people who help prepare speeches like this. And last night I was thinking, I remember these assemblies, you know, and I remember, you know, having, you know, what I thought was old, you know, old people come and speak to me, and I was so bored. And I figured, you know, I have this big fancy speech that I could read to you, but you probably have no fun doing that. So here's what I'm going to do. I actually, this morning when I was in my car about to come in, I bullet pointed 3 things that I really want to talk to you about. I want to tell you a little bit about myself, who I was, how I came to Burke's, what I'm doing now, and then I actually want to save a little bit of time to talk to you guys and maybe answer some questions you may have, hear what's important to you. Does that sound okay? So do a little bit of Q&A. So while I'm talking, maybe you guys can think about some questions you'd like to ask me. Sound good? Okay. All right. So, like I said, I was at Burke's. I graduated 26 years ago. I came to Burke's in the 1st grade after going to another private school for a year, and it was a boys and girls school. So I remember sitting in the office. I had to interview to be placed into Burke's back then, and I remember taking a test and sitting in the office and looking out at the playground and thinking, why do all the girls have on green? It was so weird to me because at my other school, I was able to wear whatever I wanted. And I remember my dad not wanting me to go to Burke's because we had monkey bars back then, and the girls were swinging upside down, and he could see their shorts, and he thought that was so unladylike. And my mom had to convince him that to let me go to the school. And what they agreed on was that under my jumper, that I would wear a slip. Do you guys know what a slip is? Okay, I figured you did. That's some kind of old school thing. And so I won't explain it. You can ask your mother when you go home. So anyway, so I had to wear this kind of other skirt underneath my jumper. And sometimes when I would go out to recess, I'd unbutton my jumper, and then I'd take it off, and I'd still have my slip on, and I'd be so embarrassed. But Burke's was an awesome place for me. I learned so much about myself, and it was a place where I really formed a sisterhood with the girls that I went to school with. I mentioned Christine McGuire. She's someone I met her in the 1st grade, but she and I became close friends in 2nd grade, and we are still best friends to this very day. She just got married last year, and I was the maid of honor at her wedding. So that's how far, but how deep the relationships are at Burke's. And I was thinking about it, you know, and you guys are here most of us were here for like 8, 9 years of our lives, kindergarten to 8th grade. That's a long time. You guys are gonna grow up, you're gonna go to high school. Guess how many years high school is? 4. So what's longer, your time at Burke's or your time in high school? Burke's. You go to college. How many years is college? 4. What's longer, the time at college or your time at Burke's? Right. So I always identify with being a Burke's girl. I still am a Burke's girl. I have Burke's pride. You know, I don't identify really with my college or my high school. I identify with being a Burke's girl because I was here for so long and during the formative years of my life. I still sing the songs to myself that Miss Thompson taught me. Abioyo, there was a monster, there's another one, that's that is my jam. He's my friend and he doesn't speak a word. Don't be afraid and I'll tell you some more. She used to get down on that song, right? So, these are the things that I remember, and I've learned them in lower school, right? And so, you know, 26 years later, I still really appreciate those things, and they bring me a lot of peace and comfort. So after Burke's, I went on to high school in San Francisco. I went to Lowell High School, which is a public high school, which was amazing. I was a cheerleader. I did did a lot of things. High school was great for me. I went on to college in San Francisco, Golden Gate University. I majored in computer science. And to be honest, I majored in computer science because back then it was very new, and I thought that I could make a lot of money. And so it turned out that it was a really good degree choice for me. But 26 years ago, we had things called records. Do you know what records are? Yes, okay, good. All right. 26 years ago, we didn't have laptops. 26 years ago, we didn't have smartphones or iPhones. Swiping. So you know what that meant? So that meant that we didn't have Uber, we didn't have Snapchat, we didn't have Instagram. There was no Candy Crush. So a lot of things that you guys have today and probably take for granted, swiping, that's what you did with a credit card. You didn't swipe to answer a phone. So a lot of those things we have today are because of technology, right? So I really believe that my degree in computer science was a really great career choice because it's helping push forward a lot of the inventions that we have here today in modern technology. And I love the fact that you guys are really learning how to be, learning STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Whether you choose to major in it or go on to a career in it or not, I think it's just so important that you learn about those things because a lot of times it's that critical thinking that science, technology, and engineering and math enable you to, and it opens up new doors for you. So, like I said, I went to college, majored in computer science, and was really fortunate enough to work in the field early on. And I worked in IT for many, many years, information technology for many years, and I loved it. And guess what? I was the only, and many times I was the only girl, only woman, and only African-American woman in the rooms. Because at that point, there were not a lot of women computer scientists. And I would go to conferences or sit in meetings, and sometimes the men would ask me, well, why are you here? Or they would ask me to get coffee. And I would say to them, I'm not here to get coffee. I'm here to tell you about XYZ. Or if I would go into a meeting with other men, they would shake their hand first and not assume that I was their boss. It still happens sometimes. People don't assume that I'm the boss, but I am. And so I politely just wait for them to recognize me, and we move on. So, as you heard in some of the presentations, we still have a little ways to go in terms of, equality for women. But as the mission states, that empowerment of girls, it's so critical. And I love the fact that when I was at Burke, I didn't know that there was a mission. I didn't know that I was being trained to become a leader in the community. And I look back on my education and my training at Burke, and I was like, wow, Burke's really did what they set out to do. Okay, that squeaking is driving me nuts. Thank you. All right, so, see, I feel like I can talk to you like sisters because it's like I'm a Burke's girl first, right? So really, Burke's really did what they set out to do, and I'm just really happy for all of you that you're able to get this wonderful education that you probably don't even know that you're getting, right? And that someday you guys will be the next leaders of this city. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. So, what else can I tell you? I talked a little bit about the sisterhood. Last night I was also emailing with Sasha Mardikian. Well, she's Sasha Boehner now. A lot of us have gotten older and gotten married. And it just is amazing to me that as I walked into Burke's this morning, I was texting girls from my class, that we are all really still in contact with each other. So even, look around you. The people that you're here with today, are going to be people 26 years later, right? Even though you're fighting, you might have squabbles with somebody in your class, your girls, it always happens, right? You're falling out with this one, you're falling out with that one. But the love that you guys have for each other is deep. Your class sizes are extremely small, right? So they're going to be little squabbles, but work through them because you guys are going to know each other for life. One thing that I did want to point out that I thought was an interesting observation, and this is to the upper school girls around the room, don't think that you guys invented the spirit rolling. We've been doing that for 26 years. And it's very funny to me to see that still exists. No matter what, that's the mark of a Burke's girl. Her skirt's a little rolled up. Lower school girls, you can wait a little while to do that. So, it's just cool. It's cool to me to see that you guys still express yourselves through your uniforms. When I was at Burke's, we didn't have, the skirt rolling was pretty much the only thing we could do. We didn't have options to wear the sweatshirt and, other types of options, but I'm glad to see, I saw this cape down here, and I was like, I want that, that's awesome. So I love that you guys can express yourselves so beautifully. I love the cape. And I love the 2017, what is it called, sweatshirt? That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. And I did want to take a moment just to comment on the 8th grade presentation. Did you guys all have a part in that? No? A lot of yes, no? Well, I just want to let you know that last weekend I went to an Oscars party down in LA. And it was pretty amazing, yeah. And what you guys put in there was absolutely true. I got to be face-to-face, shoulder-to-shoulder with many celebrities, and my one takeaway was that these women are not as thin in real life as they appear to be on camera. And I was so concerned before going about my dress choice. I didn't want my arms to show because I think my arms are bigger than Scarlett Johansson's arms, and And when I saw these women in their strapless dresses, they just looked just like me. Just like me. So, I didn't need to worry so much. So I really appreciated the fact that your video was honest and really showed a positive message or told a positive message to girls. I would actually love to share that video if it's shareable. I think it's very powerful. I speak to a lot of girls. This is a part of my job, and I think that would really resonate well with them. So the other thing that I wanted to touch on is just the importance of being a lifelong learner and the obligation I feel as a Burke's girl to give back to the community. So Burke's does, really embody and encourage and empower all girls to learn. And I think that my Burke's education was better than anything I learned in high school and college. I learned how to study, I learned how to focus, I learned how to ask for help. And those are all things that served me well in college. And it really set up a lifelong desire for me to be curious and to stay and to continue my learning. And I love the fact that you guys are giving back. You guys are giving back, is it to the Richmond District, what is it?
Richmond District Neighborhood Center.
The Richmond District Neighborhood Center. How many of you guys have participated in that? It's wonderful. That's wonderful. So giving back is so important because a lot of people don't have what we have, right? And so I love that you guys are learning how to be little philanthropists, giving back to your community. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of San Francisco for your contributions. It may not seem like a lot, but it's big. And it's so important that we continue to give back to other people who are not as fortunate as us. So I'm going to close here because I can tell you guys are getting super antsy. And I want to open it up to a couple of questions. Does anybody have some questions? I saw your hand first. How long have I worked at Salesforce? So I've worked at Salesforce for 8 going on 9 years. I started in IT and then I went to a department called Technical Operations. And now I work in their philanthropic organization. You in the back, right? Wait. Yes. Yep. In the front row, yes.
When you were walking to the gym, is there anything that you saw, like, when you were virtual, that, like, you see now, and like, oh, that's so good?
So, yes. So the question is, was there, as I was walking to the gym, was there anything that I saw I thought, whoa, it's so different? Absolutely. So I did a piece that got written up in an article, a magazine recently about kind of Burke's, and when I came back to the school, it's like, have you guys seen the cartoon The Jetsons? Okay, so I felt like I was the Flintstones and you guys are the Jetsons. Like, you guys are so far ahead of where I was 26 years ago. Just the playground, everything is different. The playground is different. There used to be grass in the middle of upper school. There used to be tennis courts in the back, not a building. Well, a little bit different. So everything kind of, even the field looks a little bit different. So it's a completely, it's like an upgrade. You know, you still know that the bones are there, but it's so much better. It looks amazing. Yes. Oh, one more question, and I forget who I just wanted to yes. Yes. So the question was, who did I meet at the Oscar party? It's a very important question. So I'll tell you the celebrities that I ran into. Mary J. Blige, Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, Scarlett Johansson, Keira Knightley, Johnny Depp. Okay, so those are just a few. That was the last question. Thank you so much, girls.